Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to do the video on love, and I'm sorry I'm doing my Star Wars look today. It is so cold here, and I am like shivering sometimes because it gets so cold, and I've had this since I had chemo about 8 years ago. So I am dealing with it being very, very cold, and the cold just goes like straight through me. So I'm sitting here in like 3 layers and wearing a bathrobe over everything because I'm so cold. So, I'm sorry about that. I mean, I'm not usually walking around like this, but I figured that since it's red and we're talking about love, then it should be okay. So, that is what I wanted to do today. Yesterday I discussed fear and I discussed how we can like kind of counter that in terms of contending with our emotional responses to it and how we kind of navigate through it. Because regardless of what's going on, fear is something that is very, very empowering. And Kathy gave me the idea about doing a video about love and about unconditional love specifically, and about how that is important in our development. So I thought that what I would do is I would just close my eyes and um, I would just let my guides try and speak about love to me and what love is and how it is represented in our world today. And so I'm just going to give it a go and see what happens. The emotion of love is the most powerful thing in the world. It brings people together, it nurtures, it helps, it heals, it creates. It does all of the things that fear cannot do because love is without any sort of condition at all. And it is always there and it's always available to us. The deepest, most spiritual sense of love is very, very powerful. And that's why when we talk about the light and the dark, we associate the light with love because that is, in essence, what it is. We are given this gift every time we smile, every time we shake someone's hand, and every time we walk together along a beach. The world is needing this love. It's needing it to such a degree that things are happening around the world that we have no control over. And we have to embrace the idea that love is what will heal the world when the time comes for it to do so. So that is what they told me. I mean, that's what, you know. So what I'm going to do is I've got my pendulum here. And I have to find a place where I can rest my elbow because right now, as it is, the everything is kind of the lighting here is really bad. So it's like I have a light like shining right from this side, and it's makes it very difficult to see what the pendulum is doing, and it's probably very difficult to see what the cards are going to say. But at any rate, we'll see what happens. So pendulum's not moving very much. So let me just ask, Ramon, are you there? No, it's not Ramon. Okay, Nigel, are you the angel that's talking to me now? Yes. Nigel is, generally he's a balance in everything, but he appears to be the guide that's wanting to talk to me today. So I have several decks of cards here, and I'm looking at the various cards, and I'm wondering what cards I should start with because I am really not sure. So I'm going to ask if I should use the mystical moments is what I was drawn to. Okay, mystical moments is it. Okay, so right now Don't have any questions, but I do want to read on love. I want to get a sort of a sense about unconditional love and how significant that is. And this is the Oracle of Mystical Moments. That's this deck here. Found out about this deck a few months ago. I was watching a live stream and I thought it was so beautiful, so I decided that I was going to get it. So I ordered it and got it, and so now it is the deck that I am going to draw cards from. With dealing with love, this is probably one of the best decks in the world because it has emphasis on love. So let's see what the cards have to say. And that one just flipped out, and it is the Weaving Flowers card. And when I look at this card in particular, what I see is somebody who puts a lot of emphasis on nature and on anything dealing with nature. And sometimes people say that love of nature is one of the most powerful things that there is, and being able to use that as a tool is a great way to share and express love. Now, everything that I'm saying is basically feeling garbled and, just thrown together, but this is what is entering my mind. This is what my instincts are telling me as I look at this card. So everything that comes out of my mouth is basically impulsive. It is me just speaking without thinking about what I'm saying and without putting any emphasis on um, how it sounds or what the words are. So in essence, this is my guides telling me that this card is about how nature is an act of love and that nature can create a loving environment for everybody, for humanity. But it also goes into the creative. It goes into the notion that creativity and being able to create things is also important. And a lot of people are asking about or talking about not buying Christmas presents this year to give to family and friends, but instead making them. And this not only shows people that what is important is the act of giving, but also the act of creating and putting your heart and soul into something and making it into something magical and beautiful. And so this card which says weaving flowers, is in essence the idea of creation, of making a creation, creating something out of love and expressing that through your hands, through your art, through whatever it is that you do, music or through cooking or whatever it is that you do, that the act of creation is an act of love. So whatever it is that is done out of love. And and they talk about with creationism, when they talk about religion and about God and about this higher power and the creation of the world, or I don't know what they call it, divine celestial creation or whatever. I don't know what it is. There was a term that they used where they talked about evolution, and I thought it was kind of interesting because all of these things were done out of love. So if the creator, this master creator, this architect of humanity or the architect of the universe created something out of love, then we can create whatever it is we need to share with also the same love that the creator has shared with us. And I think in essence that what it is that we need to do remember is that because the world was created out of love, then it is only right for us to love this world in the same way that the creator loves this world. And when we do that, then we show respect towards and admiration towards the he or she or it who created this planet, this world, and everything on it. And so when I look at this card about weaving flowers, I'm seeing an act of creation and an act of love. Um, at the bottom of the deck, there's my dear friend. Sorry, it's a little bit high. My dear friend is what the words on this card. And my dear friend is about friendship. We love our friends. We treasure our friends. We value our friends. The people who are in our lives that are important to us, we love and value those people. And so it is also that love that we share. And the thing is that I think is that's important is when we love people unconditionally, then that means we have no expectations on them to do or be or behave in the way that we think that they should behave. And so when we are sitting at home or when we're having Thanksgiving dinner with our family or when we're sharing something with people around us, when we put expectations on them to behave in a certain way, we are limiting not only their expression of love, but we are also limiting our own expression of love. You cannot love someone fully and unconditionally if you are putting conditions on your love onto them. I will love you if you do this, 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 and this. No, that's not love. That's control. And maybe one fine day I'll do a talk on control. But basically what it is when you're a true friend, when you have a friend or a family member or anybody and you love that person, you are not going to put any expectations of onto that person because you care too much about them to put those expectations on them. You do not want to put those on them. So love is not just about love of earth or love of creation. It is about the love of friends, the love of family, of the love of people who are close to us, the people who matter to us. And unconditional love becomes the key to everything. When you love somebody unconditionally, then there is no room for that person to feel that they have to do or behave some way to make that love cease or to exist or to end it. That person will know beyond any doubt that the love is there and that the love exists. So when you um, when you look out into the world and you see all of this hatred and all of these things going on and all the fear that is emanating people, then you suddenly recognize that when you love somebody unconditionally, when you love unconditionally, then you have no room for the fear. There's no room for, excuse me, um, there's no room for fear because is, fear is the absence of love. That's what they just said. Fear is the absence of love. And love is the absence of fear. So when you love somebody, when you love your friends, then there's no room for fear. There's no room for conditions, and there's no room for concerns that that person's not going to like you if you make a fool of yourself or if you do something that they may not necessarily agree with, but they're not going to stop caring for you if they love you unconditionally because that is without condition. That is without condition. And the next card I got is Night Ride, which is really sweet. This is this looks like I'm not sure what these, oh, owls. There are a couple of owls riding on the back of an elephant. And a lot of times people associate darkness and light with love and fear. And darkness is the absence of light. But you notice that the elephant and the owls are not completely in the dark because there's stars overhead. And so stars are like the beacon of light. And so when you look into the light and you want to see light and you wonder if there is any light, then You just look for the stars, and that's where you'll find the light. It may be small, and it may seem like that the darkness is there, very daunting, and that you are sitting alone, and you're like, "Oh my God, it's so dark here, and I don't know what to do." But the light from the stars is what's going to guide you, and it's going to help you find your way, even if you feel like you're surrounded by darkness. And so you can say, "These stars are like my friends. These stars are like the people in my life who love me. These stars are like my guides and my angels and my guardians who love me without condition. And that no matter how dark it may seem, there's always going to be someone there to light your way. There's always going to be a light in that darkness that's going to fill you and bring you closer and closer to the light." Okay, so they're telling me to stop pulling cards on this. But yeah, these cards are really amazing, and they're really beautiful, and they really speak to me, and I like them a lot. So give them a little shuffle before I put them back in the box, so that the energy can be nice and so. Um, what do we do when we feel alone, and when we feel unloved, or when we feel like nobody's there? I'm gonna pull my pendulum again, and I'm gonna see. Um, I'm gonna ask a question. Are we ever really alone? No. Are we clear, please? Are we surrounded by angels? Yes, we are. Okay, clear, please. And this is kind of a stupid yes, not a question that may be a yes, that'll be a yes, absolutely, and what have you. But let's just say, do our angels and guides love us unconditionally? And I think they're playing with me because the answer is yes, they do. Now they're going into yes. Yes, they do. Even with everything being as it is right now in the world, will we see the light? Yes, we will. We will see the light. Um, yeah. So I don't really, I don't really know what else to say with regards to this. I'm going to. Oh, they're telling me now to do the Celtic cross. Okay. Oh, there's the cards. Okay, so I'm using the light and the mist again. These seem like a dark deck, but the light, it is the light. It's about the light here. So I'm going to do Celtic Cross about love and see if this see what they have to tell me with regards to it. I think that they want me to use these cards again because I did them for yesterday for fear. So I'm doing them again for love, and it's really it isn't to do them because I necessarily want to I want to counter the fear, because I think the cards from yesterday were really quite nice, and I think that what we got yesterday was really good. But I want to pull on love, okay? Um so let see if my guides can give me some more information about love. Can you give me some more information about love? And then maybe I can use the pendulum again as I go through the cross here. Um, what can you tell me about love? I just had the song "Love Is All Around" going through my mind. It's from a group called Wet, Wet, Wet. and it's called Love Is All Around. I think it was in a movie or something, but it's a really great song. I think yeah, it was Four Weddings and a Funeral, I think was where the movie that song came from. But really a great song. And it's just a really, really good song. So that's what's going through my mind right now as I'm shuffling these cards. So love, topic is love, and what can the cards tell us about love? They tell us about. This is very strange because I just pulled the devil. And I'm drawn again to the triangles. And yesterday when I pulled cards, I got a very positive card when I started pulling on fear. And I was able to recognize that there were aspects of fear that are sometimes connected to our consciousness and about what we can do, because there's a difference between being afraid of something and being cautious about something. Well, there's also unhealthy types of love. And maybe this is reminding us that there are unhealthy aspects to love that are not unconditional love. They are based in conditions. They are based in the ideas that people have about the emotion of love. So maybe this card actually symbolizes this idea that we need to look at the emotion of love and see it for what it is and recognize that there are negative aspects to it that we also need to recognize and understand so that we can, when we see unconditional love, that we will be able to embrace it. It's crossed by the Nine of Cups, and this is the as I said in the other reading, it was the barkeep, the one who is holding up his cup and toasting everyone and happy. And, there's that sense of accomplishment. And countering the negative aspects of love is the positive aspect of love. In this sense, it's a positive that we are dealing with, we are contending with also this positive energy that comes from love. But considering that this is major arcana and this is minor, that, it seems a little bit difficult to to uh, to draw out. And I'm feeling kind of confused about pulling this particular card crossing that one, but but it is what it is. And they said, "Just keep going." Okay. The under the underarching energy is the 7 of Wands. And I think that this reading is actually going to be more or less about the negative aspects of love, is what I think it is. And I think it's like being able to recognize it. Recognize when people are putting conditions on their love, and recognize when people are um, admonishing you and saying things to you that may not be said in the field of love, but in this essence of control, in this essence of trying to keep under control everything that's going on and what you're doing and what have you. So this is the sevens tend to feel like chaos. They tend to feel like this sort of unsettled feeling and unsettled foundation. So I think that looking at these cards and saying, okay, I'm reading on love, but seeing all these not so nice cards, I'm thinking people have to discern if people are being loving or not. If people are being unconditionally loving towards them, they have to be able to discern that. And I think that with these cards, that's what it's saying. Discern, discern, discern. That's the word that keeps going through my mind. Discern. People want to be loved and people want to feel love. But sometimes what happens is that people go into these relationships with people and They're told, "Oh, I love you. I love you. I think the world of you. I think you're so awesome." But and then they start telling you the things that you're doing that they don't like. And the thing is, you have to be able to discern when you're dealing with people, you have to be able to discern whether or not the people really do love you unconditionally or if they're trying to manipulate you. And these cards seem to indicate that there's some manipulation going on with regards to love. In the immediate past, we have the Two of Swords. And love is blind. In most of the Two of Swords cards, you have a woman who's blindfolded. And sometimes love can be very, very blind, which lead into this idea of misleading, of being misled by someone, someone claiming to love you but being misleading. So you have to look at this emotion to some extent. You have to look at it with a little bit of discernment, and you have to determine, does this person love me unconditionally? And if they do, they're not going to tell me that I have to do this, that, or the other. They're going to tell me that they love me, just for being the way I am. And understanding that, yes, I have flaws, and yes, I'm not perfect. But to be able to discern what people's motives are when it comes to love is a very valuable lesson, and I think that's what the guides are trying to tell me with these cards, is that you have to be able to determine for yourself whether or not the person in question is really unconditionally loving or if they're trying to manipulate. So you have to be cautious and not throw caution to the wind and not look at the world through rose-colored glasses, but instead look at the world in a balanced way, which may be why Nigel was the guide that came to me, because he is the guide of guidance. He's not going to tell me that love is a fallacy or anything like that, but he is going to tell me to have discernment when it comes to love and when it comes to interacting with other people. So holding this over these cards, Nigel, is that what you're trying to tell me? Is that the message you are trying to give to us? Okay. I'm getting like a maybe because it's like going diagonally. It's like going like this as opposed to forward and backwards. Okay, clear, please. Nigel, are you trying to tell me that love is something that needs balance? Okay, yes, he is. Okay, thank you. Nigel, does this mean that we should be cautious about love? Okay, and here he's saying no. Okay, thank you. Clear, please. Okay, Nigel, is there such a thing as unconditional love in this world? And he's saying adamantly, yes, there is. Um, Clear, please. Thank you. Okay. Is there a balanced way that we can look at love? And he's saying maybe. Okay. So basically what I'm getting here is that maybe we need to not. Okay, let me ask this one last question. Okay, let me see if I can get this over here. Okay, Nigel, is what you're trying to tell us is that we shouldn't try to analyze this too deeply, right? Okay, you said yes. Okay, so That's what we're getting. Okay. So, okay, let's see. Immediate past. Okay. So overarching energy is the Ten of Cups. This is the happy, joyful family. This is the happy, joyful friends. This is the people coming together. This is the overarching energy of love, is that connectedness, that being connected to one another and being able to have that flow of energy and that flow of love and what have you. So maybe it shouldn't be so overanalyzed. Maybe we should just accept it for what it is. If this is the overarching energy, the Ten of Cups, then it is the happy, joyful people who are looking at creating a loving environment. In the immediate future, we have the Ace of Swords. This is the truth. The Ace of Swords is about truth, about being truthful to ourselves and truthful to each other. So when we are truthful, then we are able to express that emotion of love and being able to share that emotion without being afraid of what people are going to say to us with regards to it. So the Ace of Swords is about the truth. And perhaps that combined with this is really what we need to focus on. When we discover love, or when we are around people who love us and care for us, then we don't have to analyze it so much, because we will know it deep down inside. Our spirits will know it, that we are in the presence of what we are needing. So one last time here. Okay, Nigel, thank you. Okay, he's already cleared it. So, do we know spiritually or in our spirit if we are in a position where we are loved and where we know we are unconditionally loved? Yes, he's saying yes to that. So, does this mean that if we are in an unhealthy love relationship with somebody, that we will spiritually know it? Our conscience will tell us. Will our conscience tell us when we are in an unhealthy relationship? Right into yes. Yes, it will. So we will know, but we have to listen to what our conscience is telling us. And then we will know if we are in a healthy relationship or if we're not. Externally, we have the star. And this is the point of light, the beam of light, the point of light that we are looking for, the light in the darkness. Internally, it's the Five of Pentacles. We're afraid. We're afraid of being we're afraid of being left out or being left in the cold. But the reality is we're not. Because everywhere we are, we have somebody with us. Our guides are with us, our friends are with us, the people are with us. I mean, even when you feel like you're alone, you're not, because you have your spirit guides with you. And so this is like, internally we may be thinking, oh, I'm so alone and I don't have anybody and I'm heartbroken and yada yada yada. But the reality is you're not. So this is like junk talk to yourself, when you start talking, when you start talking to yourself about a certain thing, and then you're like going, oh, this is just, oh, this is so awful. I feel so isolated. I feel so left out. This is, you know, sometimes people call it trash talk, when people like start talking to them, when they start thinking that they are like really awful person or whatever, and they start, talking, degrading themselves. But the reality is, this is all mind garbage. Okay, hopes and fears is the Wheel of Fortune. Turn, turn, turn. This is the, you know, if you're looking for love, it can come, it will come. If you affirm that you want to find love, or if you want, and this isn't just romantic love. This is about having a really good friend, having somebody that you can, a sort of camaraderie. So you have to be specific about what it is you're looking for, but you also have to accept whatever comes. And that's what this is. Hopes and fears are accepting what's coming. And this is like turning a wheel and seeing where it's going to land, seeing what's going to happen. The final outcome is the Two of Pentacles. And this is what I see with this Two of Pentacles isn't really necessarily about prosperity. This is about finding a connection. And what I see here in the card is a little dove. And I think that that's what symbolizes. It's like feeling at peace with yourself and with your emotions and how you feel about certain things. And I think that this is a good way to in the read is that love is it's a precious and beautiful thing, but it's also there are risks involved with it. Specifically, if you are looking for something specific and then um it's like the story of the man who was sitting on his roof and there was a flood. And he said, "God, please help me. Help me, some since God, please reach down and save me from the flood." And so at one point they send a fire truck or they send firemen and they're in a boat. And the man says, "Oh, I'm waiting for God." And so he turns them away, even though they were there to help him. And then he says, and then he keeps praying. He says, "Where are you, God? Where are you, God?" And then a helicopter flies overhead and they lower a ladder so that he could climb up and get off his roof. And he turns them away. And finally, there's a I don't know what it was, but at any rate, so in the end, he ends up going to God, and he says, "Well, I prayed to you, and I asked you why to come and help me and to save me," and God was like, "Well, excuse me, but I sent you a boat, and I sent you a helicopter, and I sent you people to help you, and you ignored them, you turned them away because you expected something other than what you got." And so the lesson in all of that is to say that a lot of times we expect things or we have anticipation, we anticipate something and we expect something to come out a certain way. And then when it doesn't happen the way we expect it, then we get angry because it didn't happen the way we expected it. And so the lesson in all of that is that love is like that, that sometimes you're going to find that love comes to you in the most unexpected but beautiful way. And when you expect it to be a certain way and will only accept it in that way, then you've kind of lost the point. And that's exactly what happened with that guy. He lost the point about prayer and about asking God to help him and to deliver him from this situation. So yeah, so that's what I got for you on that. I think that the emotion of love is sometimes a very convoluted one. It can be very confusing. And I mean people are always looking for love, but sometimes like in the song, they're looking for love in all the wrong places. Sometimes love comes in the most unexpected ways. And sometimes we just have to reach out and embrace it. And I think that is the message, that love is unconditional when it's true and when it's real. But we are being told that we should remember and never forget that sometimes love can be used as manipulation. And I think that's what the cards are telling me, that love is something that can be used as a tool of manipulation and that people need to be careful. And it's not the most optimistic read, but it is as Nigel always says, it's a balanced one. It's a balanced read of the emotion, and sometimes that's what we need. So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and thank you for not, you know, thinking I'm total geekball for looking like Luke Skywalker today with my robe. But yeah, hopefully it'll get a little bit warmer this week. But if it doesn't, it's okay. So take care. Have a great day, the rest of your day, since it's like evening here. And I hope you have a fantastic day and a great weekend. And until next time, take care. And as always, namaste.